Hi there, my little demons and divas and demonites. Bienvenidos, welcome back to my channel. ¿Qué es la que hay, mi gente? Estamos activados, estamos encendidos. It is I, Isa, aka the Demon Diva, and the big dog. He's right there. And we are here to bring you our Monday Night Raw high fives, but also low fives. Before I get into all of that, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell because we have been uploading content left to right, including this series, which I just got started with. And I have a couple more videos coming this week. I'm uploading shorts. I'm uploading members only content as well. So if you want to become a demonite, there is a couple of videos that are for your eyes only. Hit the join button and become a member. Now, if you're new here, in this series, I don't recap the show. I just kind of take you through my 5 favorite and least favorite moments on this episode of Raw. And overall, I thought the show paced nicely. I was a little distracted because I was trying to watch the World Series and Monday Night Raw at the same time. But this morning, I went back and read a little bit of the recaps and kind of like went on WWE YouTubes to see some of the videos that they uploaded in regards to last night's show, just to make sure I didn't miss anything when taking my notes before I started making this video. I thought the show paced well, but I do have a couple of concerns, questions that are not answered, and just overall some things that I'm like, why are we doing this? So let's get into it. We always start with a low, so we end with a high. Our low moment, number 5, is gonna have to be the Bloodline saving Monday Night Raw. Why do we have such a prominent storyline that dominates SmackDown also bleed over into Raw? Now, I talked about it last week a little bit with, back to old habits with this wild card rule. Like, feels like what happened to the draft, what happened to the brand exclusivity. I am willing to suspend my disbelief a little bit because Jey Uso is a Monday Night Raw performer, and now his involvement in this storyline kind of just excuses for it. But there was a period of time where we felt collectively as a community that Raw was better than SmackDown, and maybe we missed Drew McIntyre, maybe we missed CM Punk, but I don't know, maybe Rhea had better stories, Gunther wasn't feuding with your champion. I feel like as of right now, the only stories that should be push heavily and breaking the rules should be the champion versus champion matches, right? Keep the Bloodline stuff over there, unless it's just a quick segment of Jimmy talking to Jay. But to me, it just feels like the creative is in a little bit of a standby, and you'll see a little bit more of this on another one of my lows. It feels like the creative for Raw is in a little bit of a standby, maybe until we get through Crown Jewel. So they're just letting the Bloodline run both shows right now. It doesn't bother me. I'm a big Roman Reigns fan. I'm a big fan of the Bloodline, especially the OG Bloodline. But this is not the show, and there's like, it's only 2 hours now. We didn't have a lot of time for the women. We didn't really do a lot. So it's like, you have limited time and you're giving it to something that doesn't even go on this show. So yeah, it bothers me a little bit. As much as I love the Bloodline, I'm not going to tell you that didn't bother me. But at the same time, being a hypocrite myself, at number 5, I did like the opening segment between Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. And the reason why, like I said, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief a little bit if it's just a conversation between them that involves Jey, because Jey is a Monday Night Raw performer. But my favorite part about this is that we know that the Bloodline was cinema, and we all love those segments. And the reason that I love about this is that Jake said it's not going to be the same this time. If we talk to the OTC and we squash the beef, we're going to be the Usos. We're not going to be nobody's yes boys. We're not going to be nobody's side bitch. Like, we're going to be Jimmy and Jay. And Jay said, I won singles gold on my own. This isn't the same person that I was back when the original Bloodline was there. And I am here for a different version of the Bloodline in which everybody is treated as an equal, even though we all know that Roman is superior. But I am here for a version of the Bloodline where everybody is in it together and we're just not here to yes Roman Reigns. I think it's going to help not only the Usos grow, but also Roman Reigns' babyface turn to be even more efficient if he's like admitting that, yeah, maybe I went a little crazy with power and you guys do kick ass, you know? And we saw a little bit of that at Bad Blood when Jimmy showed up and Roman was like, you called the play. Like, I love for Roman to realize that okay, I am a little bit biased because Roman is my favorite, but I like to think that Roman wasn't full of power back then. Maybe Roman didn't think they were capable of thinking the way that he did or seeing the bigger picture, the bigger vision. And the Usos are gonna be on their own now and prove to Roman that yes, they see the vision and they think that they all could be putting checks and championship goals on the family's table if they just unite. So I love the conversation that the Usos had where Jay just made it clear that it's not going to be the same. Because if we reunite the OG bloodline, I don't want it to be just for War Games and then we forget about it. I mentioned last week how the New Day went on to win, singles goals without having to break them up. I think the Usos could be together and still be successful as singles, especially Jay. Jay is one of the most organic baby faces in the company, and I don't think we should give that up in order to push this storyline. I think they can all together as faces now really make an impact and change the way that we see that original bloodline. At low number 4, and I hate to put this here because you guys know Zelina Vega is like one of my favorite, not just wrestlers, just people in the whole wide world. But I'm not sure that Ivy Now versus Zelina Vega did anything for anybody or move any storylines, or I don't know why it happened. It was a match. It was there. And that's all that I can say about it. And I feel like Zelina Vega has been here for a while, has proven herself, and she's still not getting the opportunities that I feel like she deserves. And putting her in a match with Ivy Nile is not going to help that. I think Zelina is great at what she does, and I think she needs competition. We saw it in her feud with Liv Morgan that barely scratched the surface. I think her and Liv could have done a lot more. And I remember her in the microphone, she was like murdering Liv. We know Zelina can talk, so give her a feud. She went on a feud with Rhea Ripley where people were behind her. So I just feel like Zelina Vega deserves a little bit more. And I'm just not sure that this match help anybody do anything. And right now there's a lot of performers that feel like they're on a standby, superstars that are on a standby. Why not put them on a feud, or why not do something else with them? So I hate to give this a low because I really do love both Zelina and Ivy Nile. I think Ivy Nile is a little badass, but yeah, I'm sorry. I have to. I hate apologizing for something that I didn't like on the show because I like to watch wrestling as a distraction and I want to stay positive about it. But this just didn't work for me, and it didn't feel like it did anything. And it went back. Last week I praised them for doing a lot more with the women. This week it feels like it went back to, we gotta put something women related out there. Let's put this match. That makes no sense. But on the contrary, as a high number 4, it's going to be the Sami Zayn drama. We don't know which side Sami Zayn stands at. And we don't know if Sami Zayn is going to be returning to the OG. But we saw an interaction between him and the Usos backstage. And then later on, we saw him being the phony that he is, the manipulative... I'm sorry. We saw him backstage, out in the parking lot. A lot of action in the parking lot last night. Hershey, Pennsylvania is up there with the NXT parking lot as dangerous places in wrestling because there was a lot of action in that parking lot last night. But the Usos caught Sami Zayn talking to Solo in the parking lot. So I'm very curious to where we go about this. I hope that Sami comes to his senses and apologizes to Roman Reigns and acknowledges that he ain't done shit. Okay, outside of beating Gunther, he ain't done shit since he left Roman, and Roman was right about how he made him. That's what I hope. At a low point, number 3, again, hate to have to put this here because these are people that I love, but we saw some vignettes, some video packages, promos from Gunther and Rhea Ripley that I just thought that gave us absolutely nothing. I haven't been a fan of this Gunther and Cody feud. It feels forced, and because of the stupid crown jewel belt. But Rhea Ripley, literally one of your biggest stars right now, being at a standby because they have nothing for her is crazy to me. Just crazy. Or keeping her in the same storyline with Liv and Raquel for like the past 6 months. I don't know. I don't feel like we're capitalizing on it. And because Crown Jewel is this Saturday, I am hoping that the next episode of Raw is a reset and we see some new storylines forming. My high point at number 3 is gonna have to be the tag team number 1 contender match. I thought it was a very fun match. We had the War Raiders, we had the New Day, and we had Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, which, by the way, Rey Mysterio kicked ass in this match. It's crazy to me. And Rey Mysterio has been here for as long as he has been here, and he's wrestling pretty much on a weekly basis and still looks like he's just getting started. Like, that's insane to me. He showed off in this match, from the gear to the moves to everything. To me, he was the standout performer in this match, as he should be. He's a Hall of Fame legend. But the War Raiders ended up getting the win, and I'm excited for that. Seems like they're starting to show a little bit of love to the tag team division. I'm here for that because for months the tag team division have been just as stale as it gets, and we just saw a big change over on SmackDown. Hopefully we see a big change here on Raw and we can move forward showcasing some of these amazing talented tag teams that we have on both shows. Low point for me is gonna have to be The Miz and the Final Testament bullshit. I'm sorry, it's not working for me. It's not working for me, and I know this might be leading into a Wyatt thing, but you had the Wyatt come out next week, and then this week it's just like a bunch of backstage thing without any kind of Wyatt 6 involvement. It doesn't feel like it's continuous, and at the same time, to me, it just doesn't make any sense that The Miz, which I'm glad that he's starting to wake up, but The Miz, like, who has so many accolades, a legend on his own right, is listening to... Hey, listen, I love Karrion Kross, don't get me wrong, but as of right now, when this return, he's just being a jobber. He hasn't won anything. So The Miz, multiple-time world champ, 2-time Grand Slam champ, just like letting this dude berate him just does... Ew, no, we don't like it. I will say, though, R-Truth, I don't even know if I had the chance to write him on my notes. I didn't. R-Truth was a delight in this segment, especially when he walked by Pete Dunne and he said, "Hey, Butch, have you seen Pete?" R-Truth is just, we don't deserve R-Truth, like, legitimately a legend, and we love him. But yeah, I'm not feeling this Final Testament and the Miz thing, and I can't wait for the Final Testament to move on to something else, but also let's do something with the Miz. I do have to add, as a low point of the show, the fact that there was no continuation to the Intercontinental Championship. There was not even an acknowledgement of Braun Breaker. I didn't see him at all in the show. I think that could be something that we can change. WWE had on the WWE.com yesterday, oh, don't miss the fallout from the IC Championship match. We didn't even see Braun Breaker yesterday. And the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because you had The Miz, Sheamus, like, there's so many people that are roaming around not doing anything. If you're gonna move on Jey Uso from the Intercontinental Championship match, I feel like there's plenty of contenders for Braun Breaker. So, like, let's start building that up. You know what I mean? Like, a little bit of an interaction never hurt anybody. The next low and high kind of go hand in hand together because I didn't like that the main event ended with Priest getting rolled up by Dominic Mysterio because of the Judgment Days number. Like, we've seen so many times Priest on his own just manhandle this table. We've seen Rhea Ripley on her own manhandle this table, and then last night all of a sudden they end up costing Priest the match. It's stupid. Why? I do think that Priest will go on to have another match with Gunther, but I hated it. I hated the ending of that. I hated everything. At the same time, I did enjoy when the match ended and Damian Priest just went crazy with Dominic Mysterio, and he just went off and snapped at everybody, and I love that version of Damian Priest, and he was justified in that. He seemed a little bit heelish, which I always like my Damian Priest heel more than I like him face, but right now this version seems to have the support of the fan and it's working. But I just think Damian Priest was made to be a heel. The way that he looks, the way that he carries himself, his voice, everything about him just screams heel. He seemed a little bit heelish here, but because it was justified, we'll say he wasn't. So it was weird, right? Because to me, I hated that he lost, but I did like the aftermath of that. And of course, my favorite part of last night's episode of Raw is gonna have to be everything that we saw between Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed continue to kill it, continues to make us want to see this match, and I still cannot believe they haven't added a stipulation to this match, especially after what we saw last night. What they did do was tease that the match might not happen, because they said that Seth Rollins was in a medical facility recuperating. If you guys missed it, go back and watch this. Seth Rollins comes out in an all-leather outfit, blue jacket, black pants, and I gotta tell you something. Seth Rollins taking out the jacket to reveal he was wearing the same jacket under.
Frickin' Rollins takes the invitation. You go.
Will live in my head rent-free forever. But he goes out to the ring, he calls out Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed said, hey, he shows up on the screen and says, hey, I promise Adam Pearce that I wouldn't do what we did last week, but I'm in the parking lot, come get me. And Seth was like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna come get you. Why? What? You don't have to. You got the match. Even Adam Pearce tried to stop him on his way back, saying, why are you doing this? Like, you have the match. Just wait until Crown Jewel. But he couldn't wait until Crown Jewel. And the thing that I love about this is that they allow both wrestlers to get a lick in, right? At first, we see Seth Rollins jumped off this, like, big high structure of, like, all the backstage BS that they have, and give Bronson Reed the curse stomp on the hood of a car, which was an absolute insane spot. He goes up to the camera and he starts cutting a promo, but we see Bronson Reed in the background getting right back up, manhandling security. He comes and gets Seth Rollins, and then they get into the back of this truck, and he just like gives him like a power bomb. I don't know, it looked like an attitude at Judgment, I don't know, but onto a table, which leaves Seth Rollins making those weird noises that he makes when he's dying, like sounds like a giraffe is dying or something.
Okay.
It was beautiful. I'm already excited for this match. I didn't think they could do more for it, but they did last night. I'm even more hyped for this match, and I hope this whole Seth Rollins is at the hospital recovering is not a sign that they're not going to do the match. I'm sorry that I was a little out of order and all over the place. I didn't make a script for this. I kind of just like, every time that I do a video, I just do like bullet points of what I want to talk about, and that's the reason why I need to start doing scripts, because I lose my train of thought, but then I remember things like the Braun Breaker thing. So the whole point is that those are my high moments and my low moments for this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Let me know in the comments down below what was your favorite and least favorite moment in last night's episode of Raw. In a little bit, this video is going to be coming out the exact same best and worst moments of Raw, but in Spanish para mi gente latino. So stay tuned for that, and until next time, adios. Mwah.